Take your CJ7 all the way to 11. Jeepin' with Cool Guy.
Now let's take off the oil pan. Cool. Well, from what I've seen, when we took the crankcase cover off, there's a whole bunch of bolts. Geez, I don't know, 20 of them maybe, that bolt the oil pan onto the bottom of the crankcase. And from what I can tell, they are all 7/16. Nope. Apparently the ones in the corner are bigger than that. All of the other ones, so there's 4 in the corner that look like they're 1/2 inch, and then all the others are 7/16. So let's take these out. These are short, stubby little bolts. Word to the wise, wear some eye protection because there's some serious junk coming off the bottom of this thing. There's one bolt right underneath this engine mount that you can't get to take off the oil pan. So there's nothing you can do other than pull the thing to be able to get to that bolt. So essentially what I'm going to do, this is a great opportunity because now I get to replace the engine mounts, and I can powder coat this and powder coat that and replace these with stainless steel and everything's good. So I'm going to lift the engine up just enough to be able to disconnect these, and then once I get those treated, then I will take out that bolt, put this back onto the engine mount, and then obviously drop the oil pan because that bolt will have been removed, and then I'm going to replace that one single bolt with a screw top type of head that you can actually get to later on. That's the only way that I can think of doing this. So let's lift the engine. First thing we need to do is disconnect the mounting brackets. These are 9/16. Okay, now that we got the oil filter off, hopefully this is a little bit easier to get to. Alright, so as of this point, once I take this bolt off, this engine will be half disconnected, so be ready. One thing to take note of that I just found, at least on the passenger side, is this back lower bolt. The one that's right actually underneath the oil filter was about a 1/2 inch longer than the other two. Alright, so before I disconnect this one, I want to make sure that I've got enough support on the engine. Seems good. Yeah, okay, there you go. Alright, looks like my engine's released. God, this makes me nervous. Hopefully it makes you nervous. Don't try this at home, children. Okay, looking at these 3 bolts, they're all the same length, so I don't know if that one just happened to be an obscure bolt or not. Okay, let's hoist it up. Alright, so I'm going to give myself hopefully a little bit more room. I'm going to take off the mounting bracket. This is also 9/16. So that way maybe I can swing it over. Here's your engine ground strap, or at least it is for this one. Okay, that's enough for now. There's no reason to go any higher. Hey, this is a first for me, so this is kind of exciting. Okay, let's take off these brackets. This is just a matter of unbolting all of these. You've got your cross support, frame support underneath here. All you need to do is just unbolt all of this stuff. There's a couple plates in here, and then you can easily replace the pieces. But this essentially is your motor mount right here. That's held on by one single bolt underneath there. The actual motor mount bracket, the lower motor mount bracket, is held in by 4 bolts. It's got 3 screws on the inside. These are all 9/16. Okay, I lied. The motor mount nut is actually 11/16. One motor mount, one ground strap. Boy, that's oxidized. Alright, let's move on to the actual bracket itself. These are 9/16. This one's a little bit more obnoxious because the bracket is oriented, at least this bolt, to where I can't get onto it with a impact wrench, so I'm just going to have to take off the whole mount as one singular piece. One thing to note, wherever the support bar is connected, that bolt is about a 1/2 inch longer and comes with an extra lock washer and a star washer. Alright, here we are underneath the CJ. We have taken off the oil pan, and as you can see over here, we've cleaned it up, scraped it all down, powder coated it a nice flat matte black, and I also have the Felpro engine gasket that we're going to install onto that thing. Now the complication with all this is I had to take the motor off there and there because right up underneath here there is one bolt that you can't access. It's a little annoying, but that's just the way that it had to go. Worked out well because I was able to replace the engine mounts and the powder coat and clean up the actual support brackets. Now with all that said, now we need to put the oil pan on with the new gasket. The Felpro is really kind of cool because it comes with these plugs that you can put in the corners. But the one thing that I do want to call out is save yourself the time and the effort and just take off the cross member. Take off this support post, unscrew it from that bolt and the one that's right up in here, because it will just save you so much time and effort. Alright, according to the manual, you need to put some RTV in the points here and here, and you also want to do there and there. This is basically the bearing cap that goes around the rear main seal, but it's just in these 4 little spots, and that is recommended by both Felpro and a whole bunch of people online, because really those are the only gaps in the metal of the engine block meeting up with either the timing case cover or the rear main bearing seal cap. Those are the places that could possibly leak. So you just put a little bit of RTV in there. I just put enough in there to actually fill up the channel, and that was about it. Kind of like a clamp, and that holds it in place. Then you're able to screw it in from there. So I'm going to put it on to these posts. Okay, quick rebuttal. Actually, put the gasket on first. Then you can put the oil pan on afterwards. I just tried to go through that. That was stupid. Anyways, learn from my mistakes. Put the gasket on first. Make sure you got your RTV in the right spots. And then go for the oil pan.